What's up, guys? We are trying a new brand today. I have never, ever tried the new brand Jones Road, which, if you have not heard of it, is Bobbi Brown's new brand. And their whole thing, as they describe it, is that it's a cleaner brand. I know when you hear clean beauty, boy, there's a lot of feelings about it. I'm just trying this brand. I'm just excited to try a new brand, and I do like a lot of Bobbi Brown stuff, so I'm kind of curious to see what she's done with this line. I have bought a lot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different products to try. Certainly not everything they sell, although as I was kind of peeping around on the site when I was placing my order, they have some skincare stuff, some tools and brushes. I don't think the brushes were there when I placed my order. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. Because I feel like if I'd seen the brushes, I would have been like, because I love makeup brushes so much. They also have like gear. They have like hats and shirts, but then of course makeup and a lot, like what was their thing they said on their main page? So it says, the world doesn't need more beauty products, it needs better beauty products. No phytates, sulfates, petroleum, PEGs, EDTA, or BPA, makeup equivalent of a Swiss Army knife, easy, cool, and multi-purpose products, which that's definitely, with a few of these, they're clearly meant to be used in multiple ways, which we'll talk about. Bobbi Brown herself said it began with the need to create formulas. Okay, I guess she didn't say it, but for her own kit. I don't know. So anyway, very curious because a lot of these are kind of weird. Like they're not what I would envision, and so I'm very curious to try them. So let's dive in. Enough, Jess. So the first thing we're gonna try is a moisturizer, question mark? It's their hippie stick everywhere balm. And the way it's described is that it is like literally this stick. What sucks already, like when you push it up, is that to push it back down, if you accidentally get too much, you have to like touch it. And I guess it's not that big of a deal. You're putting it all over. But anyway, I don't know why that bothers me, but So it said you use it anywhere you need deep moisture. So it's like a moisturizing balm. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on my face. I can always use a little bit of moisture. I probably didn't need any on my nose, but I am gonna get a little bit for my under eye because that I have had a lot of dry skin. This might be great for it. It seems to have cleared up. It's basically just from like itching my eyes from allergies, you know? I figured this is kind of nice. It definitely feels kind of waxy, but it's more moisturizing than waxy. That's why I don't even know that that's like a good word to describe it. But the bit that's already on my skin, I'm just gonna kind of push in, I guess. Feels nice. I feel like if you had oily skin, this might not be your friend for your face, but it did say to use it on like your elbows. So we're gonna give that a whirl. Ooh, yeah. I feel like my elbows could definitely use some TLC. So that's nice. It also said like your hands, your feet, like your heels. So if I don't end up loving this for my face, this might be nice to keep in my nightstand. And every night when I'm doing my cuticle oil, I can put this like on my elbows and hands. I can put it on my feet and heels. So kind of maybe pricey for that kind of a product, but we'll see because this is the first time I've used it. It does feel good. And I feel like you can see like it definitely added moisture to my skin. When I first opened it, it smelled like tea, like minty tea. It's kind of a nice smell, I have to say. The first time I opened it though, I was like, whoa, like it smells like I just brewed tea, you know? I clearly don't really know how to feel about it, but it does feel nice. I just don't know, like what is the price tag on this? By the way, you can get these on the Jones Road site. I bought these on Credo Beauty. Credo? I actually don't know how to say it. I've never purchased anything from that site. Why did I buy it there though? I think I had a % off coupon or something like that. So I was like, I'll just do it on there. Anyways, this I bought in a kit and it was a little bit cheaper. Just so you know, they have like a few different kits you can get. Okay, yeah, $32. I don't know if I would say like, yeah, drop $32 on something like this unless you really would like this kind of a product, but it does feel nice. I guess I shouldn't speak too soon because I feel like something like this is just weird enough that I might end up falling in love with it and being like, okay, how did I ever live without it? So we'll see. But it does also say it acts as a barrier against the elements. I remember a makeup teacher I had in college. It was like stage makeup. And I remember she had the most amazing skin and she never wore makeup. And I remember that being so interesting to me. She'd been doing like makeup for Wicked, the Chicago sit-down production, because I was going to school in Chicago. And I remember her saying, don't ever leave and go outside without something on your skin. Sunscreen, ideally, but she said also like a moisturizer, something to protect it against the elements. And that has so stuck with me. And anytime I'm just living my life, even if I'm just in the house and I don't have something on my skin, I think of that and I'm like, I've got to put something on. Like some kind of moisturizer, some kind of barrier. So I'm really digging the way this is feeling. I know, and I feel like my skin looks good. Okay, we'll see. The next thing I want to try is the face pencil. So I think this is her answer to a concealer. So it's obviously a pencil type concealer. I have it in the shade, if you're curious, 2. And it's creamy. It is creamy. So I'm curious to try it like a little bit on my under eye, maybe on just like areas I have a little more redness, because the foundation we're gonna use here in a minute is the thing I'm probably the most excited to try. Definitely has gotten the most like traction. It says a makeup artist dream, simple enough for a newbie to master. Cover redness and dark spots, correct discoloration and light and dark circles, but it's virtually undetectable. Formulated with a clear base for no chalky undertones. I think that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna try, I mean, you can see how much like blueness and darkness I have there. And of course I did put the hippie stick on, so that might affect things because it looks like it's already going on a little weird, wouldn't you say? But I feel like the idea of the hippie stick is that you can wear it under. I mean, she literally says to use it on your face. So I'm like, well, if we weren't using it with makeup, what, you know what I mean? So with and without, I mean, it definitely brightened that area, and we haven't even put foundation on. I very rarely, I'm just now realizing this, I almost never put on concealer before foundation, so this is weird to me, but I'm just curious to try it just because I figured this would make more sense underneath the foundation than it would over it, given just the formula of it, and you know what I mean? I feel like I'm having to use a lot though. I would be curious to try this without the hippie stick. Now I'm mad at myself for putting it there. However, I'm wondering if this is feeling even creamier. This is because I have the hippie stick under it. But I'm wondering if the coverage would be higher. I don't know. Guys, you know I'm not good at this. I'm not very good at like not trying too many things at the same time. So then when something goes wrong, I'm like, well, I don't know what product it was. That's your job, Jess. So we definitely look brighter. Let's try the foundation and then we'll see if we want to go back in with this, because I might end up wanting a little bit like in certain areas, but I don't think it like enhanced my dryness, which is nice because like I said, I kind of do have some dry skin around there. Okay. Let's get to the pièce de résistance right now, because this is the one I've seen everywhere that I'm like, what is that? I've got to try it. So this is the Jones Road What the Foundation, or WTF, Moisture Tint. $44. So this is not cheap. It only comes in, was it 12 shades? And her thing is that like each shade can work supposedly for multiple shade ranges. I don't know. So it's a tinted moisture balm meets traditional foundation, blends seamlessly into the skin, blah, blah, blah. It has skin nourishing ingredients like jojoba oil, sodium hyaluronate, works flawlessly with the face pencil. We'll see about that. Okay, choose from one of 12 shades created to blend across all skin tones. Due to its unique formula, some shifting may occur in transit. So it says to use your fingers or spatula, scoop out how much you want, apply it directly to your face using their brush, sponge, or your fingers. For under eye darkness that require additional coverage, use the face pencil, which we just did. So, okay, we're gonna see. So this is what it looks like. It's in a jar. What does this remind you of? If you've been loving makeup for a while, what drugstore product does this remind you of? I think it reminds me of the Revlon, oh gosh, what was it called? Color Stay Whipped foundation. Like so much like that. And I freaking loved that stuff. Dang, I miss it. Wow. So obviously you might be turned off by it being jar packaging. I mean, that's definitely something worth noting. We're gonna give this a whirl though. I don't know how much to use, you know. Let's try it with the sponge on this side, and then we might switch to fingers or a brush. Not a ton of cover. I mean, it definitely covered some. You can see it's much worse where I have none, like the redness and kind of discoloration. And again, this is not meant to be like a full coverage. I'm sorry, are there like hard things in this, or is that my skin? Can't tell. Just try it with our hands. I like the texture of this. It's really creamy. It's not super thick. It's not super thin. It's kind of like right in between. I feel like I'm just smacking myself because that's exactly what I'm doing. So doing it that way, it's definitely like you can see it's just sitting on top of my skin. And again, that freaking hippie stick, man. What was I thinking? Why'd you guys let me do that with this? I mean, I guess in theory, I wanted to try it. It's meant to be a moisturizer. I wanted to try it under makeup, but why did I do them both the same day? I'm gonna wipe it off and start over because I really want to know how this foundation works. Un momento. All right, we're back, baby. I'm gonna quickly reapply this, and this time, at least on this side, I'm gonna try it with a brush. So yeah, it's definitely going on differently without that stuff underneath it. It's not nearly as easy to spread, although in fairness, I'm using a brush. Well, no, I take back what I said. That spread really fast. Okay, dang. Dang. I'm really glad I started over. I know you are too, because it just, I don't think that pairs well with the other products, which is kind of funny because I think it's maybe supposed to, but it's just too much for my skin, I think, at least. But I feel like it looked pretty for like normal days where I'm not wearing any makeup, you know? Because I feel like my skin looked nice. And that was on top of a sunscreen, so it looked really good. Okay, that does not look bad. It's not crazy high coverage, but it looks good. So now let's go in with the foundation. I'm gonna use a sponge again on this side just because I wanna see. I already feel like that's looking so much better. Don't you? Because I feel like this is moisturizing enough that having a kind of super emollient thing underneath it just makes no sense. I feel like my skin looks really nice. There's like little pigment beads or something in this that I keep feeling, and it's not every single scoop I've gotten, but I keep feeling it. I definitely feel like the sponge is the way to go with this because with my fingers, I just couldn't get it to actually blend into the skin. You know me, I'm a total sponge girl, so I don't mind it, but I know for some people that might be a non-starter. Let me try it with a brush on my forehead just to get an idea of how it spreads that way. And we'll probably do a second layer just to see. Today, while I'm doing this, just to chat. Today, it is weirdly overcast, but the heat index, I live in Indiana, so in the summer it gets hot. We have all 4 seasons, you know. It gets hot like 95 degrees, maybe 100. The heat index today, I think, is 109. I'm like, that's pretty rare for us. Like, that's pretty high. So we're just staying inside, staying cool. That blended out pretty well with the brush too. Like, I don't feel like that looks weird or bad. That was easy. I still prefer sponges because that's me, but I do think that actually looks pretty nice. So let's go in with another layer because that's the way we roll here. I'm gonna put a little bit on top of that concealer. Trying to be open-minded because I feel like because all of these products are very different than things I typically use, I know myself and I tend to be very like, I know what works for me, and you know, I just shut that door, I shut it down. But I'm trying to be more open-minded because these are unique and this is coming from someone that knows what she's talking about. And she's been doing this a long time and making products a long time. So I'm trying to give all of these a true fair shot because so far these are looking really good now that I started over. I really like the way this looks and like the color match is nice. I feel like it's kind of like weirdly, absolutely perfect for my skin tone. That never happens. I never get it right. And I feel like I'm just excited to see a new brand. Like that's not just, I guess in theory, Bobbi Brown is a celebrity at this point, you know, but I was gonna say not a celebrity brand because there's so many celebrity brands. I'm getting so tired of them. I feel like that looks really nice. I don't know what you're thinking watching this back, but I feel like I can't cover enough on my nose. I can always cover that with powder. My nose is always the place though, on my face. It's always the place that looks the worst, don't you? I mean, I feel like we all have an area that we're like weirdly self-conscious. Not even self-conscious about it. I'm just fully aware of it, I guess. I feel like that looks really nice and like in person, it looks really healthy on the skin. I definitely think if you went too crazy with moisturizer underneath, it might look really crazy. And if you had oily skin, I would be very curious if you'd like this or not because I don't think it's way too overly moisturizing, but I could see where because it does have all those oils and stuff in it, that it might break apart really easily on your skin, you know? I also feel like the concealer doesn't look super bad. I feel like that blended in pretty well. Again, for a quick day, just using these two. Out of the two, I'm definitely enjoying the foundation more. So, all right, let us move on to this next thing. This is called her Miracle Balm. This is probably the other thing that I've seen so much about online, and I literally have question marks for eyes because I'm like, what the heck is that thing? So she describes it. Let me pull it up. It's $38, and the shades are hard to pick because when you look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like that kind of mauve-y color. No, I've obviously already swatched it, and it kind of starts out that color, but it quickly just turns into like a much more kind of translucent, but definitely balmy type product. She has various different shades. I have the shade, I think it's like the second one up, like in the lineup, and it's called Dusty Rose. It's all in the name. Miracle Balm is the secret of no makeup. A wash of soft focus moisture to perfect and enhance skin. It's versatile, it's easy to use. You can wear it alone, or you can layer it on top of foundation for an instant refresh. So I'm like, when I first was looking into it, I thought, oh, it's a blush, right? It's really not. But I wanna put it on. I'll probably still go back in with bronzer and stuff in a bit, we'll see. But I just wanna put it on. So she says to get a little bit off, kind of warm it up, because it is otherwise like kind of weird and thick, you know what I mean? So I've got a little bit. Let's just kind of put it in this area. So without, with. There's a little something there. I mean, there's obviously just a little bit of pigment. This is gonna be one of those things that like, if I had a whole bunch of powder on with this, it would look, I think, probably crazy. Maybe I'll powder the other side and then put this on top just to see, because it says you could refresh your skin with this, right? But if you had already had powder and stuff on and you're like, I'm gonna put this on, I just feel like it'd be weird. So I'm gonna put on, this is a bold move, Jessie, some e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation, which is a really high coverage, but just out of curiosity, because like if I wear this Camo Powder Foundation a lot. Like if I had this on my cheek and then tried to refresh later with this, would it work, you know? It's a lot of product. I feel like it could have come with half the amount. Like, I don't know how much I'll actually use, who knows? So on top of powder, it actually looks good. I thought it would look terrible. I definitely feel like it kind of lifts up at least the foundation that I had, you know, where I'm like, okay, you need to be aware of where it ended and kind of blend it. I don't know. Here's my thing. I think this looks pretty, especially if you're doing like truly a no makeup look, like you're just doing a little bit of foundation, a little bit of glow. I think this looks really nice. Like if this were all I were doing for the day, my skin looks freaking healthy. But if you were trying to use one like this with like a lot of makeup, I don't know where this would fit in. I guess that's my thing. Like you could do it at the very end and tap it on and add that extra glow, but it might lift up a lot of the work you'd already done. So you'd really have to be using this on one of those fresh face days. That's, I'm pretty sure, the whole idea. So in that way, I think it fits in. I think it's unique. I could see myself actually grabbing for this on days like today where I'm just kind of putting on a little bit, not stressing out about doing my brows and my eyes. Now we are gonna do our eyes because there's some eye products, but you know what I'm saying. Just a day where I'm running errands. So I think I've over-explained it enough. I like it. I just don't think it's for everyone. And if you can't think of a place where it would fit in your daily routine of using makeup, I don't know that you would need it. Same with the hippie stick, you know? Now I feel like I should put a little bit of powder over here just to kind of match things. But it definitely added that glow back. So if like you put a powder on and you were like, oh no, this is way too powdered down, like way too matte, that instantly added a beautiful glow on top of that. But then there's the coverage of the powder. So maybe that's where it would fit in really well. I freaking love this powder, you guys. I know it's too powdery for some, but again, if you wanted to solve that problem, you could put the Miracle Balm over it because look how pretty that looks. Okay. Y'all, I have 3 eye products and they're all very similar shades. So I don't know how we're gonna use these in conjunction because they're gonna look the same. There's one that I'm uber excited about. So this is called the Sparkle Wash. And I have the shade Barely Pink. This reminds me of the Kosas 10-second eyeshadow, where it's a really kind of thin formula, but it packs a nice glittery punch, but it definitely has more of like a sheer base. So you can kind of put it all over the lid and then tap it in. You could get some on your finger and tap it on for just like a light glittery look, but it's not like, my understanding is this really is supposed to look like a sparkly wash. It's not gonna be like a full-on pigment because that's not what this is intended to do. And that's kind of the Kosas that I liked. Maybe the Kosas one's the original formula, not the new one. I hate the new one. But the Kosas 10-second eyeshadow had a little bit more pigment that would stay in place than this, but this is something I know I will use because I love a glittery look. So actually, let me throw a little something in my brows real fast just to kind of make them look a little bit more done. This is just the e.l.f. Wow Brow. Surprise, surprise. So we're gonna put that on top of one of these 2 things. So the other thing I got, and this was in one of the kits, is the Best Eyeshadow. This is in the shade Rose Gold. And I've already swatched this. I just feel like it's fine. Like it looks really pretty. I just feel like you can find this even at the drugstore, but isn't that a gorgeous color? So I'm not sold that like that would be worth the price. The other eyeshadow I got is the Just a Sec eyeshadow. Love the idea of this. And I want to read what they say about this one. $26, so it's pricey. I mean, all of these are. The Sparkle Wash, by the way, is $24 and the eyeshadow is $25, the Best Eyeshadow. So they have 6 different shades. So it says it's the innovative formula you never knew you needed with a weightless, cushiony texture. And it does have that cushion. This clean eyeshadow imparts a crease-proof wash of luminous color across the lids, at the inner corner, along the brow bone. Makes you look bright-eyed. Okay, it says you can use a finger or brush, and you can use it on top of a powdered shadow or a clean lid. Maybe we do that. So, I don't know. I kind of want to see what this looks like alone. So, like I said, I didn't tell you, I have the shade Topaz. It really is kind of like a cream to powder, like cushiony, like you could push your finger all the way to the end. I love shadows like this. But it definitely, again, I think it's got like a clear base because you can kind of almost see through it. You know what I mean? But it adds that kind of like low-key vibe, like, oh, this whole thing, I barely even tried. That looks pretty. I mean, it does like catch the light nicely. It was really easy. I'm kind of like even spreading it up to be like the entire eye. And I feel like that looks really nice. Again, it doesn't really look like I tried very hard, but I used it all the way down, you know? That's nice. We're gonna try the Sparkle Wash on top though. But again, for a low-key day, this is totally my vibe. I just think it's pretty. It looks glowy, like it's gonna catch the light. Again, it looks youthful. We were watching the Tonys the other day, and man, everyone looked so good. And I mean, that would be probably true for any award show, but like every age, every person there, they all looked so beautiful. And what I noticed is every single person of any age was so glowy. Just glowy, like their arms, their shoulders, their face, their eyes, like everyone was just so glowy, and it just made everyone look so beautiful. I loved it. Anyway, all right, so we're gonna give the Sparkle Wash a whirl. I'm gonna just get some on my finger, maybe tap a little bit off, and then just kind of tap it on. I mean, it looks a little bit sparklier than that. Maybe I'll try it directly on my other eye and just kind of see. That's just kind of removing the shadow underneath it. So I definitely think the move is tapping it on instead of swiping it on, because that completely removed like everything. So just tapping a smaller amount on so it can actually go into a place and stay. But I'm not blown away by this. Okay, that looks better with the second pass. I feel like this might look better over a way darker shadow so you can really see the glitter. I don't know that any of the eyeshadows are blowing me out of the water, you know? I just feel like you can get these kinds of things anywhere, whereas the other products at least are like different. However, the exception is the Just a Sec eyeshadow. I feel like those alone, it really is pretty. I'm just kind of tapping more of this on top because I think it's prettier than that Sparkle Wash was. I'll get back to you on the Sparkle Wash, maybe in a speed reviews video soon once I've tried it longer and in other ways, because that wasn't very impressive, but like I said, I think it could look better in other ways. So that concealer is definitely majorly sinking into fine lines. Although in fairness, that might not even be the concealer, it might just be the foundation. So I definitely need to set my under eye, but I'm gonna do that in a minute. Next up, we're gonna try this eyeliner. This is the Jones Road The Best Pencil. It is a wooden pencil, obviously. It's super soft, but it's not crazy black. What color did I get? I got black, but it's more of like a charcoal black, which can look really pretty. And some of the makeup looks they've done on some of the models on their site, I think they use this kind of pencil, and it looks really pretty and kind of smoky, but like just kind of smudged out. It just looks so chic and beautiful in my humble opinion. So that's what we're gonna try to do. Try being the operative word there. That's what we're gonna try to do. I'm gonna get just a general line. See what I mean by it's like kind of charcoaly? And then I'm gonna get a brush. Hopefully I have one that'll work. We're gonna use a brow brush. Just kind of smudge it. I think it can look pretty. I think because this base I have on is so oily, I just feel like my skin is like covered in oil. Because I put on all those kind of creamy eyeshadows, I feel like this is not, it still looks nice and it's very smudgy, but I think it should be a little darker, but it's just like gliding past because of how oily everything is, you know? I really hope Bobbi Brown isn't watching this because I'm sure she'd be like grimacing at everything I'm doing. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm fully aware. I'm just a normal person. I was gonna say I'm not a genie. Have I ever told you guys that Genevieve, anytime she's being too lazy and doesn't want to walk up the stairs to go to her room or whatever, she used to say, she'll still say it from time to time now, she used to say, I'm a genie, I'm a genie. And it took us forever to figure out, we're like, what are you talking, why are you saying you're a genie? And then we finally figured out, because the genie doesn't have legs, he just has like that floaty thing and he flies around. In like Aladdin. And so that's why she used to say it. She would say, I'm a genie. I'm like, it is hilarious to me that her mind went to that. She was like, what doesn't have legs that wouldn't be able to walk up the stairs? A genie. I can't walk, I'm a genie. But she'd be saying it while she's crying, which is even funnier. I like a wooden eye pencil and I like a smudgy kind. I just need to not wear it with those products. I just think it's too, I still think it doesn't look bad. It's just not exactly what I was hoping for. All right, makeup look is done. I just threw on that Milani Anti-Gravity Mascara and then the Rimmel Stay Glossy Lip Gloss and Blushing Belgrave's one of my favorite, just like neutrally lip things. So obviously I didn't end up doing like bronzer and blush and stuff just because I liked the way my skin looked. I think overall what I've realized is this brand is like if you crossed Kosas with Glossier with Bobbi Brown. Like I feel like if you mix those three brands and maybe with a splash of like KKW Beauty because of the branding, like the way it looks, if you mix all those, you get Jones Road because it's Kosas, so it's like kind of cleaner beauty, whatever that means to you. But then like the ease and like versatility of like Glossier products, but then with Bobbi Brown's like expertise, but then with the branding of KKW, boom, you get this. You know what I mean? And I really enjoyed it. I would be interested to try other products as new launches come out. I'm not dying to place another order right now because I genuinely, other than brushes, I've already ordered the things I wanted to personally try. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the brand, the branding as a whole. I think my overall verdict, and again, first impressions, muy importante because, you know, things change. I literally just filmed a video. I can link if you want to see it, but it was things I've changed my mind about, products I've changed my mind about, because the more you use it, different ways you use it, you might change your mind. So the things I'm the most excited about using like tomorrow are her What the Foundation. I think this looks beautiful. I feel like for me every day, this is absolutely something I will use all of the time. So I'm really pumped about that, and I'm glad I finally tried it. I'm also excited about the Just a Second eyeshadow. The more I was looking at it, I'm like, it really does look pretty. And especially piling this back on, I feel like it looks gorgeous. I'm excited to use it alone for every day, because this is something like these two products I know I will use a lot. I'm not totally sold on the face pencil just because it's more of a personal preference. I just don't love pencil type concealers. I think it looked fine. It worked honestly a lot better than I thought it would, and I'll continue to use it a bit more, but I just not a fan of this kind of product. Same with the hippie stick. I'm gonna put this in my nightstand and use it that way, because I'm pretty sure under any sort of foundation, it's not gonna look the way I want it, but on my naked skin, it looks really pretty. So just think about if you would use this kind of a product enough to warrant the price tag. I'm still interested in this Miracle Balm. I think it looks nice on the skin. I really do. I think my cheeks look pretty. There's a reason I didn't end up doing any blush or bronzer. And especially, like, it's summertime right now. I don't always want, if I'm gonna go to a barbecue, I don't always want blush and bronzer and all this stuff that in direct sunlight's gonna look weird. I feel like this kind of product could be the only thing you have on, and it can look really beautiful, catch the light nicely. It's not really a blush or a highlight, but it's kind of some weird hybrid that makes your skin look nice. So that is where I think it does have a place in my world. And then the eyeshadows, obviously, I'm gonna keep playing with in different ways. I haven't even used the single eyeshadow. I know, I mean, I like this color. This is something I'm gonna use a lot, and it is a nice formula, but I'm just not certain it's worth that price tag. Same with the liner. I'm gonna use some more. I'm not totally sold on it. So I hope this was helpful, fun. If there's anything else from this brand you'd like to see me try, like maybe in a future video, let me know below, because I feel like they keep adding stuff. I do appreciate that they didn't start with so many products. They do have a lot though. They have some lip products, they have a mascara, a lot of things I didn't try, and now I know they have brushes too, which you better believe. My interest is piqued. I hope that you enjoyed. If you like seeing me try new brands, let me know, because I am interested to try some new stuff. There's a lot of new brands out there that have kind of caught my eye, and I don't always do these brand specific videos, but I wanna do that more because I think they're interesting, especially if you were like, I have been wanting to learn a little more about that brand. This is a great way for you to learn a little bit more, and I'll do the heavy lifting. How about that? Anyway, I love you guys. I hope that you have had a great day wherever you are, or night. Maybe it's the middle of the night. I don't know what you're doing, but I hope you're having a good moment in your life, and I will see you guys in my next one.